Hey guys, welcome to another YouTube video, and in this video I want to talk about a sport that I have a really, it's hard to say, an interesting relationship with. I've always liked, I've always liked, Aussie rules football. Obviously, I like rugby league. Used to love rugby union before the Wallabies turned to shit. Let's put it that way. I love cricket, motorsport, but the one sport and tennis, and I like tennis as well. But there's one sport in particular I haven't delved into. I've had a mostly down relationship with. That's golf. Now, golf is a kind of a sport I've kind of gotten difficult to getting into, because I've heard of the Masters and the US Open and the British Open and that sort of stuff, and the Ryder Cup, obviously, and even some of the tournaments that are here down under the Australian PGA Championship. We used to have the Australian Masters over here in Melbourne. But I've heard of those, but I've really never watched them. Pretty much, I've always been watching it for an hour, then flick it back, just back and forth, pretty much. Because really, let's be real here. Play usually goes on for for example, whether it's early, for example, at the Masters, whether it's day one or day two, it usually goes for quite a while. So it's basically a blessing in disguise for us Aussies, like me, where pretty much it's on basically from midnight till about 6 in the morning, until about 6 or 7 or 8 in the morning, because basically most of us poor souls are asleep. But for example, if there's like a Cam Smith or someone like that is near winning, then it's basically a bad time, because all of us basically all us poor souls have to wake up to see him win the Masters, which hopefully one day we'll see him do. But I've never really gotten into that, so to speak. But this week that all changed because of this here, LIV Golf. Now, I have heard of LIV Golf for the last 12 months, well, ever since its inception, really, and since it really got started in 2022, and it really got my attention in 2023, but I've always really, I've always wanted to watch like a full round. Full round of LIV Golf. Now, if you guys don't know the rules, obviously, it's quite difficult to get into when you first get into it. But I'm just going to get a brief snapshot of what the rules are. So basically, with like the USPGA Tour and all the other tours around the world, they have 4 days that it consists of 72 holes. Each player has to play consists of 72 holes. This tournament in LIV Golf is 3 days with 54 holes, so to speak. But then this is where it gets to, where the format changes quite a bit. So there's a little bit of change there with the 3-day format and that. But this, as I said, is where it gets really, really interesting. Shotgun start. Let me say it again. Shotgun start, which means that there's no cuts whatsoever. Halfway through a tournament, for example, tournament like the Masters, for example, they cut the field. So that's why you would have like I remember. I remember I think Tiger Woods. I remember. I think he just missed the cut in the Masters, I think, this year. But this time there's no cuts. Shotgun start, which means that all 54 players will start at the exact all the players will start at the exact same time. So basically, so there's more action. So instead of basically going, one group starts and then about half an hour later another group starts, half an hour later another group starts. All the groups are basically, it's one group at one hole, one group at another, one group at another, and one group at another. So basically, that means that the play goes quicker. So that's why it's more of a fast-paced game of golf, which is why I've been wanting to get into, because it's a much more fast-paced sort of a game, really. And the other one is, there's still the individual part of things, but the new thing is these groups are now in teams. So this is what it is. So pretty much, so there are 13 teams. This is based on the 2024 season. I've written it all down here. So these are the team names. They're very, and some of them are very, very interesting team names, mind you. There's the 4 Aces, which is an all USA team. There's the Cleeks GC, Crushers GC, Fireballs GC, High Flyers GC. That's with an HY rather than an HIGH. Iron Heads GC, Legion. I think that's 13. It's got the X and the 3 I's. I think that's 13. I think. I don't know my Roman numerals quite well, but to be fair, yeah, I think it is. Yeah, and then Majestics. I like that name actually. I like that name. I like the creativity in the name. GC. Range Goats GC. That's also another team name I like. A bit of creativity in that. Ripper GC, which is the all Australian team. In there as well. I've written here in my notes. I accidentally put next one Smash GC. I actually put Australian team. It's actually Ripper. So I made a mistake there. Stinger, which is an all South African team, and Torquay GC or Talk. I did mention that name when I first watched it on this Saturday as I recorded this, but it's actually Torquay that the commentators mentioned, and also the players as well. I mean, they're a big name. They're massive names here that I've wrote down. I've only had to write down a handful of them. Because a handful of them as well, but you got Dustin Johnson, former world number 1, Patrick Reed, former Masters champion, Sergio Garcia, former Masters champion as well. Phil Mickelson, we all know what he's done in the world of golf. John Rahm, who just this year actually start playing in the LIV Golf League this year, who's currently I think third top 5 in the world at the moment. Ian Poulter, former top 5 player in the world. Lee Westwood, former top 3 player in the world. You got Bubba Watson as well. And then of course you got the 2 Aussies in Cam Smith and Mark Leishman. Then you got Brooks Koepka as well, and then you got Louis Oosthuizen. I always can't say his name. Oosthuizen in there as well, and then of course you got Charles Schwartzel, who's a former Masters champion himself. So it seemed like to me as though Greg Norman and his men have not fooled around, and there could be the possibility, because there was a rumor going around this week, or I feel it was like a few weeks ago, that there's potential that Rory McIlroy could move over to LIV Golf. It's just a rumor. That was a rumor that I've heard, because he was the main one that was all against LIV Golf being a thing. And apparently over the last couple of years, LIV Golf had offered him millions and millions of, and all of these players have been offered millions and millions of dollars and something like that to be a part of LIV Golf. So too is McIlroy apparently in the last couple of years, but he hasn't really taken it because he's loyal to the US PGA Tour. Now the rumor is that that's no more, and he potentially in 2025 could move over to LIV Golf. So that would be a major acquisition for LIV Golf, and the prize purse as well. Oh boy. These prize purses could make anybody drool. I mean, 20 million for the individual winner per event. I think there's 14 events, or in a year, in LIV Golf. Of course, the Adelaide event has just come on right now. I think I can't remember his name. I had the name and who won it. I had the name. It just popped out again. And then $5 million for the team winner. Obviously, we all know what happened. With the team. It was the first time I remember in LIV Golf history that in terms of teams, it went to a couple of playoff holes, and luckily enough, Ripper GC got over that stuff. Thank you very much. We all worship Cam Smith and Mark Leishman, so yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to get that out there. But yeah, and then as of 2020, I'm basing this off 2023. I looked it up before I pressed record on this video, and there's also like, for this year, I don't know if it was just last year. I think it's starting this year, where there's two kinds of championship round championship rounds. One is the individual. The one is the other is the teams. Both of them are held on separate weekends. So and apparently the team, based off of last year, the team who wins the team's championship round apparently gets $50 million. Holy shit! And just imagine if someone wins $20 million. For example, right? If McIlroy gets offered, for example, like, let's say net price, let's say 150 million, for example. Just stating any number. 150 million. And then he wins like two events next year. That's 40 million on top of the 150 million that he's being paid by the consortium that is in charge of LIV Golf. That is obviously for the Saudi Arabian consortium. That's how Greg Norman and all that could get the stupid amount of money to pay get a stupid number of stupid amount of figures to get these. So at the end of the day, LIV Golf, it's no slouch. Let's put it that way. It's not like it reminds me a bit of golf's version of World Series cricket, where we all know in World Series cricket they got Lilly, Chappell, Marsh, all these great Australian players, and as well as the West Indies, you had Clive Lloyd, Viv Richards, I think Malcolm Marshall in there as well, Michael Holding in there as well, and then also you got like plenty of others as well from England. I mean Tony Gregg as well. Just all the who's who of world cricket back in the late 70s were in World Series cricket. It just reminds me of that where and there was also a rumor there was also speculation a bit late last year that the USPGA Tour and LIV Golf merged, which I'm not quite sure if that's the case. I haven't heard anything about that so far this year. I don't know if it's been a bit quiet on that, but if anybody has some information on that, comment down below if you've heard any. It doesn't matter if it's speculation or if it's official word. Is there anything that something to do with the LIV Golf and the USPGA Tour merging? Because I haven't heard anything about that. But yeah, but back on that, this sort of reminds me a bit of that, where of course I mean, if it's true that McIlroy goes to LIV Golf, then the USPGA Tour is screwed. It's screwed. Because McIlroy has been all anti-LIV Golf for the last 3 years. Ever since this whole proposal started back in 2021, since it started, he's been full on anti-LIV Golf. And if it's true that all ends by next year, the USPGA is screwed. There's no doubt it is screwed. And there's been also some other speculation that was during when I watched it on Saturday as well, where there's a rumor going around that LIV Golf could potentially move back to 72 holes. So basically a 4-day format instead of the 3, which it currently uses. Because I remember one of the pundits actually had its opinion. American pundits who was doing the commentary for LIV Golf Adelaide. I can't remember his name, but he made a good point that there was some kind of tournament where all the best college golfers around America compete, and the winner of this particular tournament gets a card on the USPGA Tour. And most of those golfers, they play 54 holes rather than 72. So that leaves me wondering, is LIV Golf's format a 3-day, 54 holes? Is that the future? That's what we're all wondering. Is it the future? Because if all college golfers right now are doing it, then is it's all basically golf. I think for me, it's basically the 72 hole thing in the 4-day format. It's almost like that's basically Test cricket, while this 3-day 54 thing is like sort of 1-day cricket in a way, if you know what I mean, like sort of like 1-day cricket, where it's sort of like 1-day cricket where it's a little bit faster and that. So, and also the atmosphere is also a tremendous atmosphere as well. I mean, the atmosphere, it would not be allowed on a regular USPGA tour tournament in a way. I mean, the one thing that solidified it to me that I'm gonna love LIV Golf, it's not the watering hole, we'll get to that in a sec, was the playoff holes that was played between Ripper and Stinger. Where when all of them got on the green, when all of them got on the green, had their putt shots, all 4 of them. There was like this sea of people that were crowding the fairway. It was just ridiculous. It was just absolutely ridiculous. And the watering hole, I think it delivered again. Unfortunately, it didn't get a hole in one like last year, but it's delivered again. I love the fact that they added in, walking songs, that sort of stuff, and actually that blowing, and you can hear, and you can actually, if you're watching on TV, you can actually hear it. Like if the TV broadcast is broadcasting a hole that is furthest away from the watering hole, you could still actually hear the music playing, and if that doesn't happen, I'll just be like, fall asleep. But with the music being as loud as it is, I can actually vibe to it. Actually, gives you. I've never been a part of a sport like LIV Golf that gives you that atmosphere. Even if you're not there, like if you're watching on TV, you could still feel the atmosphere. It's just absolutely incredible. I've never seen anything like it. It's a shame that I've never really gotten into LIV Golf. I wanted to get into it for the last 12 months, but unfortunately, as it comes, if I wanted to replay just a random sort of tournament, it just comes between the footy season. And then once I start, watching tournaments, the cricket season's on, and then when the cricket season's over, that's when the new season of LIV starts. So it's basically pointless. Basically, you're catching up on the previous season. So that's why I've never really gotten into it. But now I really do want to get into it. I really loved it. I watched all the play on Saturday, and it was amazing. Really, I didn't watch all of Sunday. I didn't watch any of Friday because I had work and that. But I did. I watched all of Saturday, but I didn't watch all of Sunday. But I did watch in the last couple of holes, and also the playoff holes as well for the teams, title as well. But if any of you guys are fans and fans of the sport, and you haven't watched LIV Golf, you are bloody freaking missing out. Let's put it that way. You are bloody freaking missing out. Is it better than like the PGA Tour and that sort of stuff? Still 50-50. It's still in the early years of LIV Golf, but I was very much impressed by what I saw on Saturday. Very much impressed, and hopefully I can watch more of it. Hopefully over the course of this year, if I do have the time. But yeah, so I was definitely impressed with LIV Golf when it was over in Adelaide this weekend, and even better because the Ripper won. We love it when the Aussies win in Australia. How good is that? You beauty, Cam Smith. I love ya. So too, Mark Leishman. But Cam Smith, mwah, we all love ya. We all love ya. But yeah, anyways. So that's pretty much the end of this video. So like this video, please share this to anybody who's a golfing fan. Comment down below. Do you think you'll get into LIV Golf? Are you still anti-LIV? Do you think it's not good for the sport? Do you think it is good for the sport? I love to hear your thoughts about LIV. Love to hear your thoughts about LIV Golf. And one last thing, somewhere down there, click on the big red button which is labeled subscribe. It really does help me out quite a bit. But until next time, guys, I'll see you guys later. Abrippa!